Okay, so for tonight, you've already asked your questions. So I've just gathered the 10 most popular questions, depending on what were the favourites. But then I'm just going to go with the flow as well and just see what comes as well. So I'm just going to see if we can kind of make a rhythm to it, a flow of these questions, and we'll see what happens. But thanks for the great questions who've asked. And so all about sex. Right. Right. First of all, I'm just going to go in and just ask my first question. Hang on. Did everyone receive their link? Obviously, you guys received your link, but it was in the. Yeah. It's on. Does anyone know Lina? Does anyone know Lina?
I used an old link. We didn't get a new one that I saw. I used the one from the last Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big list of dates on the last Q&A. So you put all the dates for the recurring Zoom link.
Okay, let me Q&A. I'll just send this invite. Copy. And then we'll get started. Okay. I'm sorry for my admin skills. They are pretty bad. And
we forgive.
I'm a work in progress. Totally. Okay. You could say you forgive me, Lorna.
Yeah, you're so good at everything else. We forgive your admin skills.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, let's right. Okay, I'm just going to go in first. The first question is when in relationships, I think this was Evelyn's question, partner with a high sex drive and but one has a low sex drive, and how you can get through it without feeling rejected or rejecting them. And how. Okay, so when you're kind of not matching. Okay, let's go. Patricia, your sound is on, honey. Thank you, darling. Okay. Your sexual energy, everyone's sexual energy is part of the heart conscious. It is a track. You imagine a train track that comes through that actually delivers lots of information that is not within the physical body. It is a energy that brings in not just your sexual energy, but everything, many things that the heart consciousness wishes to deliver to the physical body. Your sexual energy is a energy that allows you to bring in who you are and lets the mind decode what your sexual energy contains. So part of your sexual energy doesn't just contain the sexual feelings that you feel within the physical body. It also delivers many information and allows the body to start to radiate and vibrate at the natural frequency of the individual that brings in their sexual energy. This is different from person to person, and how much sexual energy they allow within the physical body, depending on the traumas that they have within, the perceptions of their sexual energy, their perceptions of their female energy, and everything in between. Things can get locked up or shut out. Imagine your right brain, which is all part of the physical body, is all, imagining it with lots and lots of doors. Those doors can be perceptions of the feminine. If you have a negative perception of the feminine or a negative perception of sexuality, then those doors will be closed to receiving the energy through the physical body. This then slows down the evolution of consciousness. Your evolution of consciousness depends on the female. The female is the enlightened being and was always supposed to be the enlightened being. She is the enlightened being to then deliver enlightenment to the masculine. However, the female has to be enlightened first in order for the masculine to enlighten himself. She is his connector to the non-physical reality. Enlightenment comes because of the connection to the physical and the non-physical joining together. Therefore, to achieve enlightenment, females will achieve enlightenment first and pass that on to the men in physical reality. I'll upset a few people. So breaking down your perceptions of belief of sexuality is paramount on understanding yourself and evolving. Your sexuality has been attacked, and that is the reason why, because everybody here that has come to planet Earth has come because they are ready for enlightenment. They have the potential of enlightenment. They have the wisdom and the know-how and the understanding. And therefore, the biggest threat in this universe are the people on planet Earth. Earth itself and the people on it is the biggest threat in the universe that has come from people from outside. Therefore, the attack on Gaia and the people on Gaia has been the biggest way, the biggest concentration from the universes around it. They couldn't allow Gaia, or didn't want to allow Gaia to enlighten, and then what would follow is the people on Earth to enlighten. This would come through on the sexual energy. In fact, everybody is that on the path of enlightenment. Sexual energy is involved, and it delivers more female energy into the body and wakes up parts of the brain and makes you more conscious. However, sexual energy does depend on where the sexual energy is coming from. You can be sexual, but on a mental side. You can be sexual through insecurities and fears. You can be sexual not through a want, but feeling like you have to. It is not that energy that the enlightenment comes. The feminine has been abused. It has been deceived. It has been dampened down within every individual on this planet. It has been disempowered, when in fact the empowerment that is true is the female energy. It's the most power of consciousness. It's the most power anywhere of any energies. It's the most powerful energy. This planet you are on is called Mother Earth for a reason. She is a female consciousness. That's because she has the power not to just abstain herself, but all the planets in this universe and the people on this universe connected and connected everywhere. She powers this universe. Without her, nothing would exist in this universe. Through the abuse and the attacks on Gaia, she has dimmed herself, so much so to protect herself, to the point where she forgot who she was. She lost herself, became a zombie. This has happened also to the people on Earth, where they feel completely disconnected from themselves. They don't know who they are, why they're here, their objectives. They don't even know that they have lived before. They are totally blind where they come in. This is because of the lack of female energy within our reality. The deliverance of this is through the sexual energy. This is why the sexual energy has been attacked so much. If the sexual energy hadn't been attacked so much through the religions, the perceptions, the beliefs, the diseases, the propaganda on sexuality, then everybody in this world, on this planet, would know who they are. They would know their empowerment. They would know that they create their reality. They wouldn't have squashed who they are for the sake of the mental beliefs that were being told outside of them. Where you are going is pure empowerment of self. And that also means that you have to face the sexual energies that have been dampened within you. You have to face the negative beliefs that you have of sexual energy. You have to face everything that's happened within you that has caused you disempowerment through your sexual energy. If you look at the sexual arena, the majority of the sexual arena through porn, through people who try to enlighten people even about sexuality, it is done through the belief structures of what a woman wants. Women have been told what their sexuality is. Women have been suppressed and then dominated by their own minds and the men around them. That's been done through religion. It is derived from the torture, from the abuse of religious backgrounds. This then gets passed down the family lines, where the men, masculine, within oneself dominates the feminine. Women have been told what their sexuality is, how to please a man, but actually it is all wrong. A woman, individual woman, will only know and only be able to express truly their sexuality when it's truly coming from them and not from the program mind that has gone down for generations within this reality. You are stepping into a time where the woman is going to find empowerment through her sexuality, where she's going to enjoy, and the men are going to be, is a gift to them. They will start to realize the gift that it is, that it actually restores their balance within themselves, it heals. And they're also going to realize for the woman to really blossom in their sexuality, that safety and security is needed. That they provide the safety and security. And once that safety and security is there, and a woman can express in her natural, authentic way, then the sexual energy will be the most powerful energy received. Not only will it balance her own self, it will balance her and her partner, but it will balance the family. It will heal the family. There will be no illnesses within that family. There will be no negative frequencies that hold that family down. It will actually bring in the nurturing, the love, the enlightenment, the wisdom, the light, as sexuality is the carrier of that. Our sexuality brings in all that needs for the family to thrive, for the collective to thrive. The reason why women cry after sex is because it delivers suppressed emotions that the woman has suppressed within herself. And when she is connected to her heart and is not having sex on the mental side, she will often cry to release the pressure that she has suppressed within that time frame. It's because the sexuality is the carrier of the emotional life. Emotions is also the love, the caring, the nurturing, the tenderness, the everything that a mother brings, the fun, the joy. It is away the sexual energy, the mother will bring in the frequency to bring the whole family, her partner, to herself, to her family, if she has a family, where the physicality of their bodies will go up to a higher frequency, to the frequency of the mother. Therefore, the mother is the carrier of the health of the entire family, and the father is the one that grounds it down into the physical so it doesn't fly away. The masculine is very important. Not only does the masculine ground down the energy that she brings, as it's not just an orgasm that she is bringing all the love and joy and nurture and everything that I've said. She is bringing in enlightenment. That comes in increments. It's not just achieved. First, she has to find her empowerment in herself, a safety. She has to find truly what her sexuality is without all the programming and beliefs and what religion has done. She has to find herself through her sexuality. Once she does that, the man will then ground that energy down just with his masculine energy, when he's got the intent of bringing in the safety and enjoying what she brings through and giving her that safety. He naturally grounds all that energy down. And also the masculine intensifies the energies. When emotions on the left side of the brain hit the right side of the brain, that is when we feel it. It hits the body, the physical body. The masculine is sensitive to the emotions. Therefore, it allows us to feel the emotions in the physical body. If we didn't have masculine energy, we wouldn't have physical reality. Therefore, we wouldn't feel the emotions within the physical reality, which is actually intensifies the emotions. So the masculine energy actually intensifies the orgasms, intensifies the energies through the sexual energy. The masculine grounds this down. The masculine also grounds it down, so the energy that she pulls through, it stays in the energy, their bubble. So everything can balance out. So the exchange of energies, it's more of dance of energies. The dance of the masculine and the feminine. The female is the carrier of the new energy coming in, and the masculine is the one that grounds it, keeps it safe, and stabilizes the energies so everybody can rise up to that energy system. Both working together in love, respect, enjoyment, fun, all those lovely things, then the dance will bring in more and more and more beautiful energy as the feminine and the masculine learn to dance again. Enlightenment is not just for a few people. Enlightenment is for everybody here that chooses to. Enlightenment, it has been made to believe that it is only for the select few. However, that is from a perspective that's come through religion and other historic methods that have been told. Everybody who's on planet Earth is on the journey of enlightenment if they choose. Actually, everybody has had a big choice either to wake up or not. And through that choice, they choose themselves and enlightenment, although you can choose at any time not to. It is difficult to look at oneself and to heal. As the trauma has entered into your reality, women and men have had perspectives of their sexuality that has been very negative. This comes with the negative of if a child has been scolded many times for having fun in their female energy, then this can have an effect on their sexual energy as they get older. they will deem it as having fun as not having fun and enjoyment as a negative thing. They've been told off. So they could have a wall up or a perception that having fun is wrong. And this could have an effect on their sexuality. They could also be brought up in religion where sexuality, where it's very deemed wrong, very sinful until marriage, many reasons. These are the things that need to be broken down and challenged. Everyone's heart knows the truth of sexuality. You all know the truth. It lives within your heart. However, the way you have been programmed on the right side of the mind is where the issues are. That's what needs to be broken down. When you have a couple and one has a high sex drive and the other has a lower sex drive, say one is a man who has the highest sex drive, so we'll go how they normally go. Men have higher sex drives and women have a lower sex drive, and how this causes issues on both sides. Go into that question. Men are very vulnerable to this, as they have to rely on the female energy to get their bodies in a frequency that allows them to feel at a natural frequency for them. The power of a woman is not something that can be replaced, so therefore the energy that a woman delivers, obviously she's far more connected to the higher frequencies, and therefore men are always going to be wanting the feminine. Everybody wants the feminine. Everybody wants the love, the nurture, the kindness, the energy that comes from feminine energy. It's part of who you are, the want. And it's good to be in the want, as you want to live, you want to be here. So everything's been upside down because of the abuse and trauma, where we have serviced the masculine. We have done what the masculine has done. We have worked far too much. We have not played enough. We have serviced the mental side of us, the structure. We've gone out to earn money. We have gone to the education. We have been in service to the masculine. This has caused an imbalance between the masculine and the feminine, where we perceive the masculine to be far more important and far more powerful. Therefore, it has caused the imbalance. When in reality, the service is the masculine is there to support the feminine. As if the support is not there, then the feminine can't bring in the beautiful energy that the masculine needs for his reality, in order for him to do what he needs to do. Therefore, the practices around the world, or how feminines have been treated very badly, that has been programmed through the religious parts, when in fact the woman should be cared for, nurtured and understood. That goes within oneself. You have to understand your emotions, release your emotions through your body. You have to care for yourself, nurture yourself, understand yourself. And then that goes within a couple as well. Once the man receives his understanding of masculinity and what masculinity actually is, there's been many screwed up ways of seeing masculinity. And those screwed up ways have actually caused the abuse of the feminine. Masculinity is here to ground the energy that the female brings, but in order for the female to bring in that energy, she needs to be able to express it, not just through her sexuality, but her emotions. If you want to open a woman up in her sexuality, then first you need to understand her. She needs to be heard. She needs to be seen. She needs to be able to express truly what's going on through her emotional life. When she can do that, she will naturally bring in more sexual feelings, as she'll want to deliver more as a gift to the masculine. Unfortunately, through the traumas and through the beliefs of what masculine energy is, that has not been the case in many areas of societies and cultures. However, until the female is able to fully express to the masculine through the physical body to her partner, and he be able to support her, then balance will not be restored. She has to realize the importance of her emotions, negative, positive, it doesn't matter. But as long as she expresses her emotions through her physical body, he is the one that comforts, calms, listens, sees her. He has the sensitivity to understand his emotion, to understand her emotions to a level where she feels seen and heard. Feminine energy, you all wish to be seen and heard. And when a man turns into a man, he needs to see and hear his partner, for then he will receive the gift of love, nurture through her, through the sexual energy. It can come through many forms, but the sexual energy is where the bridge is made into the physical body. This bridge is made through also not just through the sexual energy, but through expressing your emotions to your partner. It's also expressing the joys that you have. It's not just your sexuality, although your sexuality is a very, very powerful energy. It is the one that kind of like a massive wave of energy that comes through. Your sexual energy, it comes up through your back. The reason it comes up through your back is because your spine is the start of the physical reality. Your spine carries new feminine energy through up the spine. And as you start to get aroused and sexually aroused, it can come through many ways, through being seen, heard, feeling love. And as it comes up through the back, your spine, you start to feel it, and it starts to stimulate different areas of the body, plus you're getting stimulation through outside in, like through your partner or yourself. As the stimulation starts to happen, the more of the energy, the beautiful energy starts to come up the woman's spine. This doesn't happen in a man. This is very different within a man. The man gets physically aroused by the woman and feels the energy that she is bringing through, and that arouses him also through the touch and sensations. But as she explodes, as in orgasms, a flush from the left to the right is when it's like your left brain gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, filled with all beautiful energy. And when it gets so heightened, then an orgasm hits, it explodes. And when it explodes, it all comes into the physical body. It transfers, it just flushes like a massive wave to the right side of the body. And depending on how many doors you have open into your in your consciousness on the masculine side will depend on where it touches your physical body. This is why sometimes your orgasms can be small, and that because you have many doors up. You have not felt seen or heard or appreciated. The women haven't felt fully in themselves. Therefore, the orgasm can be small. If the orgasm is very big, it means her walls are down within herself. She feels completely safe and secure, and acceptance of self, feeling acceptance and love of her partner. So the more safe and secure a woman feels, the more she brings in and the intensity of the orgasm is. It's all about the base, the foundation that the man brings to her. So not only the man outside of her brings a base of security and safety, but her own brain brings a security and safety. When those two line in line, then the orgasms can reach the whole physical body. This is when the whole brain gets flooded. That means the whole body gets flooded with healing energy, and be able to lift the body up more into the natural frequency that she naturally is. And of the more of the larger orgasms, the more the man is able to receive and to ground down more into reality. So the more safety and the more security that he provides, the more he listens to her emotions, the more he's interested in her, the more he creates a space, a dance floor that is just for them and everything that she needs, the more she will deliver to him. So therefore, if you have an imbalance within your relationship, then the woman is not being seen or felt like she's being seen. The likelihood is that she has negative perceptions or of sexuality, or she has many doors, or there's blocks within her sexuality, or she struggles with being able to express herself, not just in her sexuality, but in her emotional life. A woman is not going to want to have sex with her partner, but that comes, but she has to be able to express emotionally to allow that door to really open. When a woman is felt that she's been felt like emotionally and the man is there, then the flower opens wider. That's it's like a reaction. This is why I just saw a therapist. Many people get sexually attracted to therapists. This is because they are being seen and heard, and it's a natural reaction. Okay. I've got a bit of roll there. Let me have a look at the next question. Ooh. What's the origins behind anal sex and the sex dynamic between same-sex partners? Okay. Is everyone still there? So yes, I hope your screen's all up. Okay, good stuff. No one's got their pictures on. Okay, anal sex and same-sex partners. Where are the origins of anal sex? I think there was a couple of questions on anal sex. Okay, anal sex. Okay, so it's like I have to learn this. It's not coming naturally. I'm seeing pictures. So I'm seeing the flow, the dance between the masculine and the feminine. You can see that within one person or within two partners. That natural flow within each other was then stopped in its tracks through trauma. So I'm seeing the energies of trauma entering the line of the family lines. Therefore, the female started to reject the male, started to reject reality, and the male started to be in trauma, abandonment, fear, and therefore they stopped to rely on one another. When I asked, was there anal sex prior to the invasion, it says no, there was no anal sex. Anal sex comes from the trauma that was placed within your reality. Anal sex is a practice that, I'm just going to see what happens in anal sex to the physical. Anal sex is actually linked. Right, we're going to have to, because this is going to upset people, because I know there's, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. Obviously, this doesn't, how people have sex doesn't take away the love that they feel for one another. So yeah, but I'm just going to tell you the origins. It's like the origins of people that been circumcised and stuff like that. It comes from a really bad place. It doesn't make them a bad person or anything like that. It's just these screwed up practices that have happened because of the imbalances and trauma that's taking place. So I just feel that it's going to trigger people, but it doesn't. If you love someone, you love someone, and love can't be. Anyway, okay. So anal sex came in through Satanism. Satanism was a practice in the old world that took over the mental side, the right side of the brain. It is a practice that actually delivers the energy of the person that is. Anal sex was originally done to children through the religious figures, priests, people in power. This goes way back, and this is carried through the old world. And the reason they done this was to implant the individual's, the priest energy into the child, in order for the frequency of the individual to monitor, attach to the child, so they could control the child in a way, in that way. So when anal sex was introduced, it was to abuse the child, and to get to the right side of the brain. The reason they favor the anal sex is because it directly attaches to the right side of the brain, which is far more easy to deceive, manipulate, and abuse. Therefore, that abuse that has happened to the child will then be detached. They will naturally detach from their female energy at the time of the abuse, and the controller will be the individual that has raped them. They will then place their energy in the child at a certain point of the brain. Therefore, their perceptions or their energy of that time will then be installed in that child. That child's female energy will then become frightened of itself. It won't want to connect with itself, as the trauma of being raped will be too intense until they're old enough to actually face it. That person who rapes the child, it's just, I'm seeing priests, the person that rapes the child is connected to that child energetically, and therefore it's like their libido goes up, or it's really screwed up. So how does that affect? I'm just seeing how that screws up there. So this is one way of the sexual abuse that has happened. One way that it's happened, and then I'm seeing the split of the left and the right brain, where the heart that actually delivers the sexual energy just backs off, like I'm not going into I don't want to go into the physical body, perceives sexual energy in a really negative way, because obviously it's just experienced the physical body being raped, and the masculine energy is then left by itself, traumatized, shamed, all the horrible things that come with rape. And then the but the act that originally started of anal sex was started through sexual abuse. The splitting of the left and the right brain leaves the masculine by itself. And when a little boy grows up, the chances that if life has been horrendous and they felt very unsafe and unprotected, they can then be attracted to masculine energy because they never felt safe within physical reality, but they're so disconnected from their heart, they will naturally be attracted to masculine energy, because masculine energy naturally is there for safety, for security. So same sex, the acts of same sex and the physical, it does, from what I can understand, comes from trauma. There wouldn't be homosexuality if it wasn't for trauma. Why do people, my next question, why do people have orgasms then up the arse? Why do people have orgasms up the arse? Orgasms through the anus is achieved just on the physicality. It's very different. So the female energy doesn't deliver the energy. It's like it's a completely different way of so I've seen like two men having sex. Well, they're just all on their masculine side. So one is using their masculinity to have sex with another person's masculinity. So it's all the physicality of it. Therefore, homosexualities, their sex drives are generally way higher, because the power of just the masculine body is where it's less powerful and less feeds the physical body. When you've got the power of the feminine coming in to the body and the orgasm coming from the feminine, then the power of that actually feeds the whole body and their partner and more. But the power of the orgasms through anal and through homosexuality is a lot less. This is what I'm seeing with two like gay people, because it's just they're lining up their mental side. It's just the right side that's getting activated, their left side isn't. And what I see with gay men is that they all reject the feminine. They reject the feminine within themselves, and therefore they are attracted to the masculine. So I'm just asking the question: when you see gay men, no gay men, there's always one masculine and one feminine. So I say, oh, what about the feminine in the gay couple? With a man, masculine, it can be in touch with the feminine. Let's just have a look. But it can be false. So they can pretend to be feminine, but they are men that are seeking men because of their seeking protection, or they have had such a horrendous time with feminine energy and have see feminine energy as dangerous or not safe, or don't deliver their needs, or many things that could have happened in childhood. Then they don't want to go in the feminine, but they pretend. There is a pretense in it. You will always want to balance out. You'll see this with friends. If you're not gay people, but you've got two friends. One will be the emotional one will be the analytical one, the more mentally stable one. you balance one another out. So when gay people come together, they will naturally balance out, where one will be feminine and one will be masculine, but the feminine that they have is not the feminine that a female has, because they have problems with feminine energy. Therefore, they're not going to be in receipt of female energy through their physical body. As I see it, they always derived into the physical. This is why within the homosexuality arena, men arena, their drug rate, the mental health rate, the everything like that is really high in that area, because of the lack of female energy or the blockages that they have within. As this starts to come out in your consciousness of the truth of your sexuality, as this comes out in the truth of this does not take away. So you've got two homosexuals and they love one another. Within everything, everybody loves one another, and you can find love within same sex. So this doesn't take away the love. Just want to say that. But the trauma of that is there on both sides. But it still doesn't, many people live lives or have their life through a trauma life. You'll find that the men that they're attracted to, or the women that they're attracted to, is through trauma. It's very much the same. If out of trauma, you'd be attracted to somebody different and have a different life. So you're all coming out of trauma, and this is not to shame or blame, or it's just to gain understanding. And through the understanding, you'll start to break down the trauma so you can balance more within. The balancing more within is what is required. And someone that as the consciousness level rises and the more people start to talk about sexuality and really the facade over sexuality, they've normalized trauma in your reality and the behavior of trauma. This is done through the workaholics, to the drugs, to the through the sexuality, to the trans, they've normalized what is actually reactions to trauma, and that has been their weapon. They've tried to normalize trauma, but what they're actually doing is taking you further away from your true self and making you feel this is normal, this is your identity, when in fact that identity has been placed upon trauma. Many people's behavior there's many of people's behavior that they have is based in trauma, through the introverted people, through the argumentative people, through the abuse that happens throughout societies. If no trauma was there, then the behavior would change completely. There'll be far more balance, love, nurture in this reality. As the people that step over into the new reality, they have chosen that they wish to balance within themselves. They have chosen to love themselves. They have chosen to break down the beliefs and the traumas within themselves to gain the balance. And that's who's going to stay. The people that wish not to are going to implode, and because it can't survive. You can't survive with no feminine energy. Therefore, the peace that you find within the feminine and the balance that it needs for the masculine return to be a man, to be there for the feminine, and only that is going to be achieved when the feminine starts to realize her importance of herself, to realize her emotions are of importance, to realize that she owns her sexuality, that she is able to express fully through the safety. Not only will she be giving herself back, but she will be bringing back the masculine energy and how it was naturally meant to be. This is also going to take time and patience and realizations, and consciousness needs to understand truly the history of what's happened to them, And what they've deemed as normal is actually trauma response. The person is in pain. Okay, I'm gonna do another one. Shame around our sexual desires. Right. When that question comes up, the first thing I see is a priest. So it seems that the sexual abuse was actually delivered initially, first of all, by the I wanted to say Catholic Church. It may be Catholic Church. But sexual abuse was delivered by religion, as I'm seeing priests. How they did this was they deprived the sexuality of a man. That then to give them beliefs that they weren't allowed to enjoy their sexuality, that the female energy was beneath them. It couldn't provide anything, that it was dirty. This was placed all through the teachings of religion. The religion is the one that caused the shame. And when a priest went outside of his structure, which they always did, they created shame within themselves. They didn't go by what the Bible said and what their belief structure said, so they created shame. When shame was then passed over to the child that they raped or the woman that they raped, they would then place the shame inside the individual's mind. The shame actually comes from the abuser and not the victim, although the victim feels the shame as the abuser cannot take responsibility, hence they are in religion. All part of religion is also not to take responsibility for your actions and believe that somebody else is above you, watching you, helping you manifest your reality. This is because part of it is not to take responsibility for the actions that you have had or any power to make your life better. It's up to God. This is also has an effect on what they do and how they have behaved. They cannot take responsibility and blame the individuals, the victims in this. You see it throughout society, through your politicians, through any structure. All the structure is the blame goes downhill, and that is why, because the top cannot take responsibility for their actions. Therefore, the shame travels down when a person, but it starts with the belief structures. The belief structures are placing somebody in a box and somebody believing that box. They first had to introduce trauma and then lose faith and trust and belief in the feminine. Their life started to turn upside down because of the trauma that happened. Therefore, they started to rely on an energy outside of them, hence the religion. They believed that religion was going to make their life better, but they had to follow rules and regulations, dress a certain way, preach and program the people that they loved around them, and they also deprived them of their natural needs and wants and desires in life. When they broke those natural needs, as the body needs the feminine, needs the sexuality, needs the love and the nurture, then they went into shame. This shame then started to weigh down the collective consciousness. It started to travel from family to family through the sexuality. Shame and sexuality started to combine together, the frequencies. The chances are that you've been born in a family where sexual energy wasn't discussed. It was shameful. It was shameful to enjoy yourself, to enjoy your body. How crazy is that? But it was placed in because of the abuse that the priests had done way, way, way back, and still probably, unfortunately, doing today. They brought shame in, but it all started with the Bible, the religions. To face it, you have to face the trauma that you went through. You have to separate yourself from the trauma. As when trauma is inflicted on an individual, the trauma of the abuser that has inflicted the trauma, that energy stays within the physical body. Therefore, you have to go back to the original to understand. This is why victims feel shame and feel like they've done wrong and start to blame themselves. This is because the person that does it doesn't accept any responsibility. They don't feel the responsibility of what they've done, and they place it all on the victim. This needs to be separated out in your consciousness. This is why its healing is very difficult, as you have to go back to the original time and unfortunately experience it again on an emotional and mental level, to discuss it, to reflect on it, to break down and separate yourself from the energies that were placed in you and the energies that you felt within. You have to process and understand that the shame was not yours. You can also experience shame without being sexually abused, just by the shame that your parents carry around sexual energy. Shame can carry. And this is why the education of sexuality needs to be far and wide. People need to talk about it. This is why it's so great doing the Q&A, to break down the belief structures and the perceptions, and really understand what sexuality is. And because it actually creates or restores the perceptions of the feminine and the perceptions of the masculine, that the masculine is safe, the masculine does bring security and safety for the feminine, and the feminine brings in the nurture and love. And once that energy, once that balance is restored within an individual, then the balance brings more balance to the collective. That energy naturally travels from person to person, just like shame travels. The shame travels down, it's very heavy and deep, but the balance of the individual, you create a bubble of balance around you with your energy fields. Just going out or going to the shop, you connect with people along the way. As you start to talk to that individual, you start to balance them out. You naturally become the natural healers of this reality. As you find the balance within, people naturally gravitate to want to be balanced, and therefore they will seek the balance of others. Also, it will help them become balanced. Yeah, I've gone off. Did I ask the question? Sexual desires, yeah, shame. Okay. I'm curious about sexual desires between two people. How can you feel no sexual desire, sexual energy with one person and have intense sexual chemistry with another? Okay. So you're a female. Your female energy is always seeking out energies around her, and so is your masculine. They're always seeking out. So when you connect with somebody, you're not just seeing their physicality, but you are checking out the different frequencies that they have within, and the frequencies that are in your range, or in your frequencies, are the ones that you pick up. So the frequencies that they have that mirror your feminine, where your compatibility in your sexual desires meet, then your sexuality will bloom with that person. Basically your sexuality, if it mirrors your sexuality, then the sexual chemistry will ignite. So you actually are finding parts of yourself in another person. Some of this is to become aware. It's like a healing, because some of your sexualities can be negative. Traumas can be there. You may want to understand the traumas. You may want to heal. But it can be very positive. It may also that your sexuality, first of all, so I'm seeing it that the female chooses the male. The male never chooses the female. The woman always chooses who she's going to have sex with. The choice is through the feminine energy. She's scanning the masculine. And if the masculine meets the frequencies that she wishes to understand of herself, and he has those frequencies, then it will like ignite. I'm just wondering then if a woman fancies a man and he doesn't fancy her back. I mean that happens. There's two ways of attracting somebody. So on the heart level, where your heart is actually attracting, then the heart will attract the people, the men on the mental side that will be attracted to you. However, if a woman has dampened down her heart and is in trauma or is not attached to her heart, the mental side will have to do it. The masculine side will have to do it. He will have to find the partner. And this is where relationships go wrong and where people can't find the relationship. If a relationship is based on a woman's mental side and she picks a partner depending on her belief structures, then the relationship is not going to be compatible. If you ask a woman what she wants in a man, if she lists loads of things that are mental, his what he looks like, to this, to that, to his wages, everything like that, then the likelihood is that she is attracting a man on her mental side. She will then attract the wrong partner. If a woman listens to her heart and goes with what she feels and forgets all the perceptions and beliefs about what her future partner should look like, how much he earns, all that crap, and goes with her heart, then she will be attracted to the right man, and that right man will be attracted to her. As the female energy will only take the woman forward in order to look after the man that she's with, and also to herself, and to enhance, embrace, and help evolve both of them. It's funny because usually, like, the man, but when a man is struck by that energy, by the heart energy of the feminine, and he's got his heart open, it's very hard for a man to say no. It's like a drug, like, because if a female is coming at the relationship through the heart consciousness and it's true, then it's actually the woman in power, and the men are like trusting the feminine. This is why it's so important for the men to break down their negative beliefs about the feminine, why they have to make peace with their mothers, why they have to make peace with their ex-partners, and trust themselves and also the feminine. As to go into a new relationship, the masculine has to trust the energies, the heart energies from the female, that she is there to enlighten, to connect, to love, to nurture, to embrace the relationship. When a woman attracts a man with the mental side, the man will feel it. He will then, it will be a different relationship. He will act differently. He won't take the relationship seriously. it's like it's known it's the masculine meeting masculine. But when the heart comes in, it's a different story. This is why if a man has sex with a woman and it's just mental, he will know the difference. But when a man has sex with their feminine and that feminine is bringing in the feminine energy, he will, it basically, man, you know, he's allowed to be the man. If men go into relationships with women and they're just on their mental side, then it demasculates him. They fight on who's going on the masculine. That's why women find it very difficult when they go into relationships with men, because they've naturally may have lived on their masculine side for years. And when they go into relationships with a man and a man stands in his masculine, they are kind of forced onto their feminine energy. This can be a very vulnerable time. They may have lived outside of their emotions for years, maybe all their life. And when they've got a man comes in, the heart brings that man, and they've listened, they have to go more onto their feminine energy. And this is why relationships can be very tricky, as lots of trauma and feelings can come up. Those traumas and feelings have always been there, but they've been on their mental side, therefore they haven't been able to feel them as intently. And when they're forced more onto their female side, they become far more emotional and dealing with the traumas. However, the men that the women are with, it's always picked through the females. Even with the dominance of the masculine that's happened. I can't remember that question. Okay, I did ask that. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so the next one is, can you explain how expressing sexual energy provide life force healing? I've kind of done that, haven't I? Abundance that create more ease and flow in your life. Kind of done that at the start. Okay, the next one is menopausal women. Menopausal women lose libido, a huge drop in hormones. Is this true? Aren't menopausal women are not supposed to be sexually active? I hope not. I hope stay sexually active. Okay, that's menopause. In the old world, when women get to a certain time in their life where they pass the baton over to their daughters, their family that they have created, what I'm seeing is that the sexual energy is still there. I did want to say as not intently, as they're not providing it for a large family, it becomes more of her and her husband. This is like a world without trauma. So before all the trauma hit, and where we are going today, where we're heading to. So when a woman, and I'm seeing a woman becomes more sexually, more energy starts to come in at the age of 27. And then that from the ages of 27 to higher up, really into their 60s, late 50s, early 60s, that period of time, the woman is like, it's really heightened, because not only is she providing for the family that she's created, but for her husband, for herself, and the family at large. As the woman gets older, she doesn't have to create as much energy to come into this reality. The baton is passed over to the daughters that she's had, to the women in society up to that age bracket. So the most powerful that come in is through of women is through the mid 20s to the early 60s. That is the power zone of the sexual power zone. Not that the woman loses her sexuality. However, the power of it is, it's kind of, she's coming from a world where learning to enjoying her life. So during the ages of 25, 26 to the age of 60, she's learning who she is and embracing who she is. She's expanding who she is, and the woman is also to expand the minds of the individuals on this planet, to the children, to the men on this planet, to expand the mind, to bring in the consciousness to help manifest the reality. As she gets older, this energy, she doesn't need to carry this anymore, this responsibility in society, that she can just relax and enjoy what she has created, enjoy her family. Therefore, she still is naturally sexually active, but it may be at a softer level. On a physical, be through the traumas and through the belief structures of menopause of today. Let's go there. Women have struggled with their emotions, therefore they will struggle with their sexuality. They would struggle with the traumas that they've had. Women are have been living on less female energy, and therefore the men have also lived on less female energy. So the drop in female energy is going to be far more dramatic in the people that are carrying a huge amount of trauma in them. If you have a skinny person, for instance, this just said like an example, if you've got somebody skinny and they don't have a lot of fat on them, for example, when there's a drop in food, they're going to really starve and it's nothing. So the people there, when they go through menopause and there's a drop and they lose their libido, there wasn't a lot there anyway. They can bring their libido back by actually learning to express their emotions, to realize the importance of who they are, as sexual energy actually goes throughout life. You're always here to enjoy yourself and your bodies. It is a way of keeping you healthy and the man that you're with healthy. Yeah. So I'm just going to ask about drugs, and like, because you've got, is it the menopause? You've got like, my mum used to have patches. I don't know what they're called. Hormone replacement therapy. That's it. I'll just go in a bit of that. So the hormone replacement energy is kind of like a substitute for female energy within the body. It's not the natural way. You are not supposed to have drugs. However, through the lack of female energy and the belief structures that you carry within your consciousness, drugs have created a substitute for your female energy. However, if you have a woman that's going through menopause and she drops, she has to face her beliefs about menopause. She has to face her relationship with her own female energy. She has to face the relationship with her own masculine energy. She has to be able to express her emotions and really get to know herself. All it is a lack of connection to the left side of the brain, but that lack of connection can be through the perceptions, through the traumas. So healing yourself and understanding yourself is one way of really bringing up your sexuality. If you are in a non-sex relationship and that is where you're happy and that's where you want to be and you don't wish to embrace your sexuality, there is nothing wrong with that. Let's have a look. Well, everybody is an individual. Therefore, the potential of having your like creating your sexual, being sexual, but maybe you haven't got a partner, or many reasons. As long as your heart is happy with that and your mind is happy with that, then, and there's no friction within you, then that's absolutely fine. In order to open your heart, you can open your heart in many ways. When you enjoy what you enjoy, if that is your hobbies, the people that you love, your heart naturally opens to the people that you love, doing things that you love. So anything that opens your heart to bring in the female energy, sexuality is just a huge force, like a power zone to bring it forward. It isn't, but you can bring it forward through other methods, and not through your sexuality. You can bring more of yourself through you understanding yourself, your healing, through the thing, just enjoying the things that you enjoy, what your heart loves to do. However, if you are if you're non-sexual, that may also be that issues with your feminine energy, or there may be other issues in there. But if there isn't, then that's absolutely fine. So if it doesn't bother you at all, and you're not triggered by it, and you're very happy in your life, and then it's your life. There's no issue in it. Your mind and your heart, it's like that thing, isn't it, where everyone says, oh, you should have babies, and then women that don't have babies and then get this thing over them. But it's your life. How to support young teenagers with a world that is over sexualized. I'm not looking forward to that time with my kids. Okay, teenagers. One is you being comfortable with your sexuality. The sexuality arena is going to explode. The talk of sexuality, it's probably already exploded in many arenas, of the truth of sexuality and how important sexuality is, and how it has been abused throughout life here on earth. Once parents start to realize the degree of their own abuse or any shame that they're carrying around their own sexuality, and start to heal that will naturally affect the children that they have in their life. That frequency, as a child starts to go into teenage mode and come away from, they're not totally away, they're still in mum and dad's frequencies, they still carry, they may carry the frequencies that the mother had before, the father had before. Therefore, the best way of helping teenagers through their sexuality is actually discussing it. It's talking about it, it's communicating about it. It's the child understanding actually what's happening within them, and really what's happening within them. Not that they're attracted to boys or attracted to girls, and there's that side of it, but also what's happening is they're attracting them to themselves. Their sexuality, they're understanding their bodies, they're actually understanding who they are. For this to be shamed or deemed wrong, then you are practicing what the priest brought in. You are practicing what the Bible brought in. This is not shameful, it's actually essential for a child to understand who they are, that understanding their sexuality and the energy that comes through, and to accept this energy. You have many problems in your society where many people don't accept their sexuality, and then are trying to change sex, their names, deform their bodies in order, because they're in denial of their sexuality. That's how far the sickness has come. Therefore, accepting that your children will become sexual, that this is an exciting part of their life to understand who they are. They have understood parts of themselves, but the true understanding is actually going to be delivered through their sexuality. This is a new stage in their life. This is an exciting time, and discussing sexuality and why they're attracted to who they're attracted to understand that what is around in your media with sexuality is very shallow. It is shallow because they want people to be attracted from mind to mind. They don't want the girls to go into their emotions and feel their emotions. They want it to be materialized. Therefore, people go into the wrong relationships and create the trauma that has once been. They want people on a program path, and that programming can only happen when the mind, it attracts the person that they've been told to attract. This is why teaching your children that the emotions of the individual that they're attracted to is important, that it doesn't matter. You go with people that make you feel good about yourself. It doesn't matter, what they look like or what they have or how rich they are. All those things is actually to allow the feelings, for the girls to allow the feelings to come through and what feels right for them. The respect a mother gives herself, the discipline she has for her children, and this respect and love that she has for herself, her children will also grow up for the love of the mother. So how the mother treats herself and how the father treats the mother will teach the boy on how he should treat his feminine and the females around. We learn through not what we're told, but really the biggest learning is through the frequencies that is emitted through our energies. You can play the balanced person or the fake person, but the real frequencies can actually expand way further on, and the child would have to learn those different frequencies that the mother and the father has placed within the consciousness. Therefore, you breaking down the negative perceptions of your own sexuality and coming to accept the female energy and what sexuality is and what it delivers and how important it is, how it's the whole beauty of the sexuality, and seeing it as the life force that comes through. You also perceive help. Imagine this information being told to a sex education class to a bunch of 12, 13-year-olds. And what the sex education is now, my son came home and started talking about trans people. And it's so shallow and so, it's just crap what they're doing. So, but the understandings that you have, don't shy away. Your children that have come down to the awakened people have the wisdom already within them, but that truth that needs to be sparked within their own female energy. When a child hears truth, it opens up their heart consciousness. So speaking about sexuality, speaking about your experiences as a teenager, to make them feel not alone, to make them feel that this is okay, that they're going through changes, they will feel the truth of that. Therefore, that truth, their heart will open up and help push away the over-sexualization that is deemed in society. If you, so truth is what is needed, as consciousness wants truth. So when you speak truth, the heart opens, it starts to vibrate the frequency within them, and then they start to remember who they are. And that is what you want for your child, to remember who they are. They know all your trauma. Higher up, your children know everything that you've been through. They know your struggles. They know your perceptions, and they've chosen you as a mother. the reason they have chosen you as they wish to also learn from you. You are the teachers, therefore you need to teach. And you have been another reason why the woman has been suppressed, because you are natural teachers in this reality. And therefore they wanted to replace the women with Bible, which has now gone on to the media. They want to take away the mother's teachings in order to suppress the truth in this reality. The father is also the teacher, but of the physical reality, how to hold space for the amount of emotions that needs to be decoded. He does this naturally, and once the man believes in himself and knows his role again, and the woman knows her role again, then the balance will be restored. But what you do understand, don't keep it to yourself. Your children are far more enlightened than you at that age, because the enlightenment travels. Children are here to enlighten you as well. You just need to spark the frequencies of remembering who they are, and do that with truth, even if the truth is hard to say. If it's truth, it comes from the heart, that not only allows truth to come out in physical reality, but it sparks the truth in them. Okay. Oh, okay. Orgasms. I've never done this. Yeah, I've done that. Contraception. So I think contraception, how can we have sex without having lots of babies? Is there a natural solution? Okay. I'm going before trauma, where women are so connected to the non-physical world, they're so connected to their emotional life, where they chose, where they know they are conscious of choosing a child to come in. They get to know the child, and the father gets to know the non-physical child before the child comes in. The mother starts to create the channel for the child to come through and make sure that everything is ready and prepared. This is done well in advance before the conception. This still happens, however, the mother is not conscious of it because of the lack of connection or lack of knowing oneself of what the heart is up to. So these experiences are still taking place, however, the mother is unaware of it. All child born in this reality, all pregnancies that are conceived, is through the knowledge and understanding of the female energy. Therefore, there is no accidental pregnancies. They've all been planned. There may be fucked up reasons for the pregnancies, but it doesn't matter. It all is planned through the feminine energy. Therefore, there are no accidents in your reality. It's only an accident when the mental mind is not aware of what the feminine energy is saying or what the feminine energy wants. This is where also your manifestations happen. When something happens beautiful in your life and you didn't expect it, but the heart was giving the information. It can be the manifestation can come fully from the feminine, but parts of the mind not fully understanding. As you start to connect up, you start to feel, and some of you may have already experienced this, feel the life force that is connected to you already. You start to get to know the life force that's going to come in. The baby, the new energy coming in, and the mother can change their minds at any minute. However, that procedure is always going. So as we go further in of knowing oneself, and the mother coming powered within herself and knowing the true force that she is the portal for the non-physical reality to accept her emotions, her sexuality, to her actual empowerment here on earth, she will also connect up to life outside of the physical life. She'll connect up fully to her soul, to her wants, to her desires, and to the life source that's wanting to birth through her. It will be very normal in the future that mothers and fathers are not going to the IVF clinic to try to conceive, but are spiritually connected to energy outside of themselves, and be fully conscious of this. Why am I seeing that? I just went to IVF and it's given me, I'm going in a different area, but I don't want to go there in a minute. I'll go there. I may go there after. I want to go back to now though, because we're not connected as well as we should be, and therefore we still want sex, but we don't want to make babies. So how do we? When you are in full trust of your feminine, when a female is fully trusting of her feminine, she will, and the process of healing is to fully fall in love with the feminine and trust oneself. She will know that she won't conceive, that a baby's not coming in. So as you start to travel, as you start to get to know yourself, these things will start to naturally happen. However, if you're not at that level, you've got the pill and all these different contraceptions. So I'm just going to go through those and what it actually does and how harmful they are or not harmful they are. I'll keep a blank slate on it. So the first contraception that I'm seeing is the pill. The problems with the medication overall is you are reaffirming the mistrust in the feminine. The feminine will tell you when a baby is going to come in, and if sex, you're going to conceive a baby at that time. As the feminine, as the ova, the egg is created from the feminine energy. That egg is attached to the female light body. It's within the female light body. It is then attached to the higher self, to the soul, to the energies that may wish to come in. Therefore, if an ova is going to spark, it is up to the ova. And through the relationship, through the energies of the feminine, she knows if she's going to conceive or not through what sex is going to take place. You don't need the technology or the tests. She will know. A woman in the future will know when she's going to conceive before she has conceived, and she'll know it straight away after sex that conception has been had. That's how in tune the female energy is. The problem with taking the medication is that you're mistrusting your feminine energy and reaffirming that. And so you're saying to yourself that I can't tell myself that I'm going to get pregnant or not. Therefore, I have to take the contraceptive pill or anything. And that also reaffirms the mistrust that you have in the feminine. As you start to build up the trust in the feminine, you may find that you wish to reject these contraceptive types. And when full trust within yourself. However, be careful, because as I say this, I can feel the ego can get involved and go, oh yeah, I trust myself. And so don't be, I'm an evolved being, all this sort of stuff that the ego can tell you. That trust is a natural frequency that you have within yourself, a natural confidence. It is it is based on self-love. It is based on full respect. It's based on pure respect and love for oneself and for women at large. So if you can look at women, if a woman can look at a group of women and see the beauty in them all, and also the big one, their mother, and have no issues and fully trust the heart and the direction with no anything that's stopping in the way, then when you get to that level, you will then trust the energy of yourself. You'll trust your body. You'll know exactly, you're going to a place where you'll know exactly what's going on in your body. When your slight body is unhappy, you will be the healer of the females, or the healer of the body. They'll know exactly what the body needs and what's going on. Anyway, however, when we're not at that level, people aren't at that level. So the mistrust that you have is through you cause mistrust by taking the medication. When you take the pill, I don't even know what that does. I know what it does, but I don't know what it does when it goes into the consciousness. What I see is that the ovaries, the eggs get dampened. It suppresses the feminine energy. It suppresses the energy within your body. So it actually may cause more, it causes problems as the life force in your physical body is dampened down. These revelations that you have, people probably know this already, they will become wider as you start to reject the medications. And I'm also seeing condoms. Let me have a look at condoms. Condoms demasculate the man. You are made up, the masculine energy, the sperm, the penis, the everything. When you place a condom over it, it demasculates, desensitizes, it stops enjoyment. It is stops the masculinity connecting to the femininity. It is a way of demasculating men. It also is being brought in to create fear of the masculine and the feminine connecting, not your fear. The people at the top were frightened of the masculine and the feminine connecting, as it is their power. And once men and women are balanced and in their power, then the people at the top that have been abusing won't have their power anymore. Therefore, the fear of connecting, that's one of the reasons condoms were created. As condoms are not designed for the human body, therefore placing a condom over a man and placing this condom inside a woman, if you leave a condom on for a very long time, it starts to erode the skin of the feminine and the masculine. You don't see this because it's for a short amount of time, but if you knew the effects it has on the skin, and it desensitizes not just for that short time, it desensitizes and takes away and damages the nerve endings in the feminine and the masculine. Desensitizes is also demasculates the man. This has been done deliberately. The people that have created the condom and every manufacturer since, the scientists behind this, the manufacturer behind this, know this. It is what it was designed for. Oh my God. Okay, what else have we got? Anything that goes within the body. This is why, another sign, right? This is why it's so important to go with your heart consciousness, because to have sex with somebody that from the mental side, and you're using your reason you're having sex through the mentality, then it doesn't pick up the non-physical energies. The non-physical energies that the mind does not see, but the heart does, can be frequencies of belief structures. So obviously the diseases that you have, the sexual diseases that you have, it actually derive from the belief structures that have come into your reality. But those belief structures cause a frequency. Those frequency is then, if you're having sex with somebody who believes that they have HIV, and is scared of passing it on and all those sort of things, the frequency can be passed on. That person finds out that person has HIV. Not that it actually exists, but the frequency exists through the belief structure. And the way people find out about HIV and their beliefs around it on a collective level, they'll then go and get tested, and possibility through the tests, because the tests are deception, they pick up a reading. However, your heart understands what that person, all the frequencies of that person. You scan an individual, your heart scans an individual. Your mind can only see what is presented on the physical level, but your heart sees what's presented way deeper on the non-physical level. Therefore, your heart will lead you to the right relationship and lead you to a relationship that will help evolve you and the person that you choose to be with. This is why females need to come out of their minds and into their emotional life and realize the importance. Not only the emotional life will help you expand yourself and the person, but it will help you pick the partner that is right for you, that you love, that everything. However, I don't know where I was going with that. Just got lost. We're on contraception, weren't we? All female contraception dampens the feminine energy within. It also seems that an implant that happens. The implant that was in the arm, what is that is designed for is to dampen the feminine energy. You actually, in fact, there are many women that are suffering with depression because of the implant. It is a direct result of the implant. The implant causes the life force to go into a frequency that is not of their natural self, and therefore when they have sex, the energy that comes through is of a lower frequency. Therefore, they not getting their needs met. Their mind is not getting their needs met. Their men are not getting their needs met through that frequency. So the implant that the women have is a direct attack on the feminine. This is also what it's designed for. It's not designed to stop having babies. That's one, but it's also designed to stop the female energy coming in to our reality, to create depression. And when you're on depression, then you go for the medication that will also dampen the female energy. It then leaves the woman more on the mental side, and therefore she steps from her femininity. The men are then demasculated in society. It is a whole attack on the feminine energy. That's so sad. Yeah, it's really sad, isn't it? Sex dreams. Hopefully this will lighten things up. Sexy, saucy sex dreams. Okay. Why do people have sex dreams? I think that was the question. People wake up aroused. Men wake up aroused, don't they? They wake up with erections all the time. Sorry, this is a point of view from a female mainly. We'll have to have, well, when some of these questions are from the men. Okay, sex dreams. Let me ask about sex dreams. Each individual has, so I'm seeing a female light body, so left brain, right brain. For the female energy to be seen and understood, she has to come more into the physical. And what I'm seeing is parts of the female energy going to different parts of her own masculine energy. And if we look at a man, he's also in dreamland. His masculine is searching out the feminine within him. That is this connection between your own masculine or your own feminine can cause the sexual charge in you, and your dreams can then be you getting aroused by your own frequency. The masculine and the feminine coming together, where they are learning about themselves and there to expand, is down to the expansion, is the deliverance of that expansion is the sexual energy. Therefore, if you're having sexual dreams, there's that could be one of the reasons that you are learning about yourself and you are trying to expand and bring more feminine energy into your body. The men are trying to connect more in with their heart, with their feminine energy, and that connection like goes zzz, and then brings in the sexual energy. So sex dreams actually happen. The reason you're feeling it, because it has to happen within the body. It's not out there in the non-physical. It actually happens within the physical. Therefore, parts of your female energy is trying to attach to the mental side, or the mental side men are trying to attach to the feminine energy. So when you are also in growth, learning, expansion, for women, their sex dreams will come more often. Men are always in need of the sexual energy, because it's like they're way more vulnerable, because they need that flow all the time. So yeah, enjoy the sexual energy. Also, the frequency that you may dream of a person that you've never met, or you may have met in the past. It may not even be your partner. Do not be afraid of this. It may be that that person has the frequency that you have in your brain that you're connecting to, and your mind remembers this frequency, or your heart remembers this frequency, seeing it in somebody else. When you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with yourself, because you're falling in love with the frequencies at first that actually represent you. And therefore, there may be frequencies in you that you need to fall in love with, but they are not of the frequencies that your current partner has. So your mind goes into different areas of the brain. And this is where masturbation comes in and continues throughout your life. Don't be ashamed of masturbation. If you are in a relationship, it doesn't mean that your partner's not giving you everything you need. He or she is giving everything that they can, but you connecting with yourself, there will be energies that you need to connect to that your partner can't deliver or reflect the frequency that you need to connect to. This is really interesting actually. When you're having sex with your partner and the energy comes through, the frequencies that sexually attracted you are the frequencies that you have within your frequency. So say like, a woman having sex with your husband, partner, what attracts you is actually the frequency that you have within, and you're trying to enlighten that frequency within yourself. You're trying to make yourself more conscious of yourself. However, you project that onto the person, or you see that in the person that you're having sex with. This so this helps you, your partner helps you connect, and then connect women more to their physical bodies, and women connect men to their hearts, to their own hearts, and to the woman's heart. If your partner doesn't have all the frequencies that you have to enlighten yourself, then women connect to themselves through masturbation. So this is not something to be ashamed of. It's natural for you to connect with yourself, because no partner, husband, wife, is going to match you entirely. Therefore, you understanding yourself is not just through your partner, but through yourself. And this is where having sex with yourself is needed in order to bring that energy through. Okay. I've done all the questions that I wrote down. Does anybody want to ask a question? Do you want to put your hand up? So the first one that's puts a hand up first, I'll go to. Brilliant. Amber.
Hey, Becky.
Hey.
Hi, I wanted to ask you about, what about men and getting vasectomies and what that does to them?
Vasectomies. Okay. Vasectomies. Okay, so what I'm seeing is the semen. So when a man hasn't had that, okay, this is more on the physical level. When semen is concentrated with the semen has many roles. Semen is not just to make a baby. It actually to coat the feminine energy, to ground. It's another version of grounding the energies down within herself. It is a gift to the feminine. It's a gift to the feminine to what does it do to the feminine? Semen, if I see a man, so when I'm seeing this, what I'm being shown, when a man ejaculates within a woman, it grounds her right down. This is why condoms are really bad and all these sort of things. It grounds her right down. It is a gift to her. It grounds her. So if he doesn't ejaculate in her, or condom, or there is a vasectomy where the concentration of semen is like water and so it's not got all that nutrients in it, then she becomes ungrounded. Therefore, the grounding of the energies are also affected. This is why ejaculation is so important. That is a really good subject because there is info where men don't ejaculate, and it's like this. Well, they can, I was speaking to a friend where it's like we can keep on going and going and going through practices, but the women give you a gift through the orgasms and the man give a gift back. The euphoria that actually happens when a man ejaculates into a woman, as long as she doesn't have negative perceptions of semen or anything like that, she will feel the force of his energy in her, and that grounds her down, like for acceptance, love. There's lots of real positive really positive energies that taking place. So that energy of exchange, there's because if I see a woman there's nothing there, or it's watered down, there's a lack of intimacy, and that lack of intimacy doesn't bring the closeness. So semen is also part of the intimacy of bringing the closeness into the relationship and connects the masculine and the feminine together more. When the semen is watered down, and there's still ejaculation, it's not as strong. it could still be there, but it seems that when it's like no vasectomy, it's really strong. So vasectomies are only there because of the lack of connection of the woman has to herself, and the disempowerment that women have had, and women losing their roles, men losing their roles. We wouldn't have vasectomy. So it's another practice that happens through the result of trauma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where would you? Last one, Eugenie.
Oh yeah.
Hiya.
Probably this is related to the ejaculation in the semen, but what is tantra sex, and how does that impact
Tantra
us?
sex.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me, what is that when they get into all the yoga moves? I don't know tantra sex. Tell me a little bit about tantra sex. What's the sort of
I think it's something to do, as they referred to, is something to do with having this sexual euphoria without ejaculation.
Okay. Yeah.
More of a spiritual element. So that's why I thought that might be related to the previous question asked.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Yeah, because it kind of went into that, didn't it? Okay. Sex without the ejaculation or orgasm, like a continuation. To hold this. Okay. For a woman to not orgasm through her sexuality, then she doesn't flood the physical body. The explosion doesn't happen. Therefore, the amount of female energy in this reality is reduced if the woman does not orgasm. The orgasm, you can have orgasms just on the mental side, but when the female energy is part of it, then it is of force and pleasure. The man, when a man and a woman are completely in tune with themselves, with each other, where they are completely, the frequencies of them, where the man holds the space, brings the security, the safety, both sides, they both love one another. When you become in tune and dance together, then the orgasm will be reached at the same time. This is what will happen in relationships when the tuning of each individual with each other, they will reach in orgasm at the same time. The orgasm at the same time and the exchange of energies, or the dance of energies, is an explosion for both. This one brings in all the new energy and the man grounds it down. The practices of keeping orgasms away is another practice of keeping the masculine and the feminine reaching the balance with one another, and also manifesting the reality that they wish together. So all these practices, the root of them is to restrict oneself. When you restrict yourself through your sexuality, through your lifestyle, through the love that you have for yourself, all these things, you've coming from a world of restriction, then you are not going to enjoy the full power of the feminine or the masculine coming together. This will then go into other areas of your life. I wonder where these practices come from. Let me just see what's behind these practices. So tantra sex too. What I'm seeing in these practices, obviously everything is in a state of evolution. So when these practices were created, they can be coming from a state of evolution, of evolving oneself. However, practices can come from a state of fear, or not giving what one wants in order to suppress yourself. It is also given a screen of illusion that you are giving everything that you have, or giving more, or a state of control. It is, but like I'm seeing like negative energy or negative perceptions towards the feminine energy, to not reach or to not give, not allow her to reach orgasm, or for the man to not give what he truly is designed to do and what the female is designed to do. You stop that interaction, then you stop life manifesting itself. If you look at all the practices to restrict sexual energy, to not masturbate, to restrict your orgasms, you're not going with the flow of actual energy. You have to work mentally hard to do it. It's not the natural form. To restrict the semen through condoms, through the pills, it's all to restrict the masculine and the feminine to come together. Your feminine will show you your natural way of how sexuality is. This is for the female energy, for females on this planet, to show the men on what sexuality is. It's the women to find out about themselves, to learn, to be empowered within their sexuality, to allow that energy to flow through, and the men to, I did see a lot of these practices have been created by men, and those practices have come from insecurities and fears. So the restriction of what they've done is actually what they've done within themselves, and then they've brought these practices forwards to claim enlightenment. But when I dig a little deeper, it's coming from insecurities and fears. Sorry, I'm going to piss off so many people today. Yeah, sorry about that. Right, I better go. I'm going to go before I piss more people off. But I hope you enjoyed that. And there were so many questions. There was like nearly 100 questions on the.
We need part 2.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a part 2 at some point.
Oh, that was amazing, Becky.
Yeah.
Wow, so amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. If you did like it, thank you, sweetheart. If you
Oh,
did
it was
like
amazing.
it, when I put the video up, if you want it again, if you want to do it again on sexual energy or another topic, if you want to, then just let me know on the video. So I'll upload this tomorrow, and just let me know.
I loved it. Everybody loved it. It was fantastic.
Great. Woohoo! Fabulous. Okay. Well, big hugs. Nice to see you, Laurie.
You just said my words. Fabulous.
I was quite nervous doing it as well. I felt the pressure all day for some reason. But yeah. Okay. Big hugs to you all, and I'll get this uploaded, and I'll see you soon. See you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you,
All right.
Becky.
Love you, Becky.
Yeah,
Thank you so
love you.
much.
Bye.
It was
Bye.
awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.